Hey, welcome to the Summit Host Hangout podcast, where you'll learn how to host a high converting virtual summit that leads to your biggest signature offer launch yet. I'm your host, Krista from Summit in a Box, and today I'm hoping that you will get to leave feeling re-inspired and re-motivated about what virtual summits can do for your business. So I'm recording this in August, so who knows, things could change by the time this episode actually airs. That's like one bad part about being prepared and recording in advance. But things in the online space feel a little weird right now, right? And I'm just going to assume that's not going to change by the time October rolls around. Who knows? But like we see it too, right? Our evergreen funnels are quieter. For the most part, our launches are smaller. And there's just like in general, a lot of uncertainty about what the key is that will make people want to work with you for more than pennies. And I mean, like I have my guesses and informed results based on our offers, but that's just the overall feeling I'm getting from everyone right now. And I see these questions literally asked in some of the communities I'm in. And anytime something like this is happening, the evergreen sales gurus go on their launching is dead rampages to try to get people to join their offers. It's like every Facebook ad I see, launches is dead. This doesn't work anymore. And as someone who teaches summits, I get a lot of it aimed at me specifically. And I think I shared this on another episode recently, but like recently had someone within the last couple of weeks reach out on Instagram accusing me of inflating numbers and setting unrealistic expectations with summits. And they said like, they don't work like they used to, and so big name just hosted a summit and only made this much money. So how am I supposed to be successful? That's proof that summits don't work, like just going on. And like, first of all, so big name that only made however much from their summit is not in the Launch with Summit Accelerator. They were not using my strategies. You cannot compare the results we get our clients with any summit out there. So I'm just going to put a pin in that idea. But if that person was, like, I would have encouraged them to run their event differently to maximize revenue. That's a whole other story. But overall, my point here is that I see a lot of questioning whether launches work, whether summits work. And like, it's easy to even get in my own head sometimes, right? Because I'm seeing all of these things and I'm like very sensitive, and I never want to just shut down someone's experience or their thoughts or what they're hearing from others. I want to lean in and listen and learn. And like, if it's something I don't like the sound of, I want to see if I can disprove it. And then also, like recently, just due to my own marketing, we've been working primarily with people who run B2C businesses, which means these people target consumers, right? Rather than other business owners. And let me tell you, these summits are where it's at. Like, it is so much easier to get 5,000, 10,000, 30,000 people registered for those events and see huge revenue numbers because of it, with the right strategies, of course. But lately, again, I think because of the shifts in the industry, I've worked with fewer B2B people than we used to. And a lot of the B2B summits, the summits targeting other online business owners I've seen are just not positioned quite right. And I'm not going to call anyone out here. I'm not going to list anything specific, but they're topics that are general, they're overdone, they're not very exciting. So to me, it's not super surprising that they're pulling in 10K or 20K and the hosts aren't overly happy with the results. So when I went into our membership momentum summit that we hosted in August, it happened 2 weeks ago at the time of recording this, I was pretty like uncertain and kind of freaked out about what the results would look like based on what I was seeing and hearing. Like, everyone's telling me launches are dead, summits in B2C are rough. Like, am I going to find that out for sure? And this specific event brought in $54,000 last year. And my goal, based on everything I've been seeing and hearing from others, my goal was to match it. But like, secretly, I was like, if we hit 40K, I feel like that's going to be good, right? Like, summits are still a thing. And like, I just didn't know what to expect. I didn't have someone who I considered a key speaker last year. So like, that was making me extra nervous. Even like, the smart part of my brain, the coach part of my brain knows one speaker doesn't matter, but still I was like, oh, with this person, that would have been so helpful. But I knew regardless, I was still going to host a summit that was done well with good strategies. And then at the other side of that, when all was said and done, I would have a much better idea of what I could tell people to expect on the other side of hosting a summit right now, and specifically a B2B summit, a summit for other business owners. And I am pleased to say that B2B summits still work. And I should clarify that B2B summits that are done well still work, okay? Not any summit strategy you throw together is going to work. Like, you need to be specific these days and like be on it. I'll go over what that means in a sense in a minute. Like, what does it look like to host a successful B2B summit? But first, I'll pause and talk to those of you who don't target B2B audiences. Like, if you don't, you can still totally listen to this. But overall, there just like hasn't been a question in my mind for you about whether or not summits still work, because our clients are getting wild results in all kinds of niches. We just had someone who made $450,000 off of her All Access Pass, which is absolutely wild. But if you are in a B2C niche, you target consumers, you could listen to episode 290, where I talked about why summits work better for B2C right now. Circling back, when I said, I'm telling you, B2B summits still work, I don't share public debriefs anymore because it puts a lot of pressure on me and honestly just like makes me sick leading up to the event, knowing that I'm going to have to do a big public debrief of numbers and things like that. And I don't know, for a lot of reasons, if I need to share that information. For those of you in the Launch with the Summit Accelerator, if you didn't join us live, we do have a full debrief with numbers, a breakdown of the strategies we tested, and all kinds of stuff in the bonuses section. You can just ask us for a link. But I will share that instead of generating less revenue than last year, which was my goal, we almost doubled our revenue from last year. So like, that's not even just saying that it kind of worked. I just had my biggest launch ever for this company in the year 2025 with a virtual summit. Mic drop, enough said, episode over. Like, we beat our 2020 numbers. We beat our 2022 numbers. And we did not spend tens of thousands on ads or anything like that. What we did just straight up worked. It always has, right? We're using the same core strategy. And each time I am testing, I am trying to stay with what's new, what could make the event bigger and better and attention grabbing for people who think they don't like summits anymore. Some of the new things we tested just worked even better, right? So I'm going to talk about some keys to a B2B summit that works these days. But first, I just want to pause and let you take that as encouragement. If you have been feeling uncertain, if you are not sure that XYZ strategy is still going to work, not sure if a summit will work, don't let the evergreen gurus or whoever is telling you that launches are dead get to you. Strategies that used to work can still work, but you might just have to get creative and innovative in the ways you are executing to make it work. Does that make sense? You can't answer me, so I hope it does. But just take a moment to feel encouraged and breathe a sigh of relief. So let's get on to, after this experience, what I would say the keys to a B2C summit that breaks your launch records in 2025. And let's just add 2026 since we're close. What goes into that? First, all the things that have always mattered still matter. Okay, the right strategy, a solid All Access Pass offer, the right speakers, a solid marketing strategy behind the All Access Pass, promoting your summit. Everything that has always mattered still matters, and maybe even matters more. Okay, I'm not going to sit here for 24 hours and list out all those things. The point is you need a solid strategy. That's what we teach in our programs. Okay, I wouldn't recommend winging it right now. I just straight up wouldn't. And that is not so I make a buck. It is me caring for you because summits are a lot of work. But beyond the things that have always mattered, I would say there are some things you need a little extra of right now. At least it seemed to work very well for us. That includes, this is one of those things that has always mattered, but I have to say it. You need clear, attention-grabbing positioning. You cannot host a summit to help business owners make more money, be more productive, be more organized, nothing like that. Don't say those words, okay? It has to be something specific for a specific group of people. We work with our accelerator clients very closely on positioning. This is a big deal. We'd love to help you with that. And we reworked our positioning and made some tweaks both before the event and during the event when registration was open. We were making tweaks to see what we could optimize and change. You need to nail the positioning, and it really needs to grab people's attention, especially because it's so hard to have something that looks unique and exciting in the B2B space, right? Because we've all seen it before. We've all done it before. You better have something good if you want to catch anyone's attention. The first new thing that I think is just getting significantly more important with the way things are right now is a human touch. And I think a huge part of the success that we had with our summit was the fact that people got FaceTime and support with me each day. There was a human connection there. They weren't just buying from a faceless person sending emails. And I think that really made a difference, especially for our specific offers since they are higher ticket. And with that, I also just truly care for my speakers and for my attendees. It's not just an act. And I think that shows through. Like, yeah, of course, I host this summit for the business, but everything I do and plan comes from the point of view of impacting them and making sure it's an incredible event for them. I'm not saying, okay, how can I make the most money possible through this summit? I'm saying, how can I make every speaker leave with tangible results that actually benefit their business and make them want to come back to this event again and again? I'm saying, how can I let attendees leave better than when they came and give them real wins to this event? And I think that point of view paired with the right strategies is so important right now. People are cautious about who they buy from. We all know we're being marketed to, and we want to feel like more than just a number in a funnel. And I think that really showed through with this event. We had so many people join our programs who came straight from Facebook ads and had been in our audience 10 to 20 days. And I think the human touch had a huge part to play in that. So far, we have a good overall strategy. We have clear and attention-grabbing positioning and a human touch. I think like the last really big thing that matters is, especially in the world of B2B summits right now, is a solid offer to launch on the back end of your summit. And for us, that was actually a requirement. Our back end offer launch made about 5 times more revenue than our All Access Pass. So if I would have just relied on the All Access Pass, I would have been a little disappointed based on where our business is at and the results I need to see. There are some who would have been thrilled with the number we saw for our All Access Pass, but for us, that back end offer was a requirement. So like while I was able to prove that summits still work, I think I also proved that it's harder to get like thousands and thousands of attendees than it used to be. We actually had 500 fewer attendees this year than last year, but the back end converted significantly better, which is how we still doubled our revenue even with that. And if I would have just depended on All Access Pass revenue, like I said, some people would have loved that number. I would have been a bit disappointed based on where we're at and what our business needs right now. But the backend offer is so powerful when you stack that revenue on top of All Access Pass sales. And when you stack that on top of sponsorships, which is what we teach in our Stack Summit monetization strategy in our programs. So like our All Access Pass revenue, we covered all our expenses with that and then some, right? We profited just with the All Access Pass. So that means everything we brought in through our offer launch was just pure profit, which is so nice. And that's one of my favorite things about summits. You're not paying to grow your list and do your launch. You are actually being paid to do those things. So summits still work. Yep. But if you are someone who's looking to do 25K, 40K, even 6 figures through a summit these days for business owners, that offer on the back end, whether it's a course, membership, or group program, is really going to help you get there. There are some of you in certain niches with certain positioning and topics that can still get there without it. But for a lot of us, that backend offer is really helpful. And tying all of those pieces together is exactly what we support you with inside the Launch with the Summit Accelerator, like how you create an incredible experience for your speakers and attendees, while making a splash in the industry and having a highly successful launch when you combine All Access Pass sales, your offer, and maybe some sponsorships. So you can DM me Accelerator on Instagram if you want to chat about if working with us would be a good fit for you, or you can go right to summitinabox.co/apply to fill out an application, and we will let you know if it sounds like a good fit for you and your business. You always have the chance to chat with us afterwards. But I hope that this gave those of you running B2B businesses a little encouragement. Don't give up. Don't jump ship and move to B2C like I was tempted to do for a while there. Keep trying and adjusting and experimenting. You have made it this far, and sometimes making it farther just means riding the waves of the industry and getting creative with what you're doing. And that's what we did in this summit, and I'm excited to support our clients in doing the same thing. So for show notes and resources mentioned in this episode, head to the link in the episode description wherever you're listening. And now go out and take action to plan, strategize, and launch your high-converting virtual summit.